What's going on, everybody? It's Irish Shadow here, and I am bringing you a little bit of a video on something I've been thinking about for a little while now. Well, basically ever since the last MKX breakdown video I did. Because I knew this day was coming, I just didn't think it would actually happen. And like, we're not talking about Sega Dreamcast 2 kind of not gonna happen. I just figured this doesn't really seem like a thing that would really happen. And unfortunately, like many other times, I can be wrong. Um, so I was kind of hoping that the Combat Pack 1 would kind of be the end of Mortal Kombat X for me. And in all fairness, it was. But now with Mortal Kombat X Kombat Pack 2 coming out on the 1st of March, at least that's what the PlayStation Store says, I have a decision to make. Do I purchase the Kombat Pack 2 and do the breakdowns for the 4 new characters? They are Boracho, Leatherface, Triborg, which is a combination of Cyrax, Sector, and Smoke, and the Xenomorph with the trace essence or DNA of Baraka. Now, I have gripes with all 4 of these characters, and I'll get to that in a bit. Let's start by looking at the prices. Now, when Mortal Kombat X came out last year, I bought it. I pre-ordered the premium edition. So premium edition came with the standard game and the Combat Pack 1 for, I think it was around 86 bucks on PSN. I bought it off PSN. I didn't get it through like GameStop or any of that other shit. Anyway, to me that was still kind of an incomplete game, because not only did you get the 4 DLC characters, you got the pre-order bonus of Goro, which it's Goro, like what can you do? But other than that, you got costume packs, and then, but you didn't get all the costume packs. There were specific ones that were exempt from Combat Pack 1 that you basically had to shell out extra cash for. And everyone basically hates that fucking idea. Then there was the unlock all the items in the crypt for 20 bucks. Again, something I did not pay for because I did not need. If I was going to pay like 60 or 80, like close to 85 bucks for a game, I'm not going to pay another 20 just to remove 40% of that game. That doesn't make sense to me. But hey, let's talk more pricing. So Combat Pack 2, which you can officially buy on the 1st of March 2016, will cost you $20. Whereas the standard Combat Pack 1 cost you $30. Okay, so I can kind of see how it's intriguing, but you know, is it really that intriguing? Like, am I willing to pay $20 to get 4 more characters who, by the way, will not be released altogether on day 1? No. So you could buy the Combat Pack 2 when it's released on the 1st of next month, or you could pre-order it now, and then you still have to wait for each character's individual release dates before you can actually download said character. Therefore, basically, yeah, you get them when they come out, or hell, you might even get them early if like I think it was like a week early. If you had Combat Pack 1, you got like all four of the DLC characters a week early before it was actually like buyable on PlayStation Store for anyone who didn't have the Combat Pack 1. Still, the thing is, am I willing to buy Combat Pack 2 just to make these 4 videos? This is where it gets a little bit complicated. Let me explain. I don't think at this time I can really, like, okay, $20 is not a ridiculous amount of money for me to come up with. I come up with that basically like in an hour at my job. So that's not the issue. The issue is it worth it to me to buy more DLC for a game that, in my opinion, has already run its course? Is it worth it to me to do that? At this point, no, not right now. However, once the dust is cleared and these 4 characters and everything else is released and everything's good, might be a different story. Because you know how these things work. They always work the same way. A character gets announced like with their release date, and when it's an official release date, you still have to wait a month between each character. So basically like 2 weeks after you get the update for said character, that character will be available. Now, there's another problem. The characters that they are releasing in Combat Pack 2, to me, are very low quality characters. I'm going to start with Boracho. Boracho, I saw coming from a mile away. Not just because he's big and drunk and fat and whatever. But he's one of the main characters that you see in the MKX storyline that actually has some fucking point to him. Well, other than the shattered shades of what happened to Boracho. Okay. But do I think that compared to everyone else that we have seen in the Mortal Kombat X storyline, why would they choose Boracho? Like, I get it, he was in Mortal Kombat, I think it was Deadly Alliance as a playable character. But other than that, it was like Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which I refuse to talk about because it is what it is. But other than that, he hasn't been playable. But it kind of reaches the same level as Tremor, because I can understand why Tremor was chosen, because he was in a previous, well, quote, spin-off Mortal Kombat game, but he was never a playable character, not even in Armageddon. So I can kind of see why why they put him in. I'll never understand why the fans did such a fucking cry out for him, but it is what it is. Who would I rather see instead of Boracho in Combat Pack 2? See, I would love to see Shang Tsung. Like, either Shang Tsung or, some kind of fucked up version of Shao Kahn, maybe. Kintaro would have been a good choice, in my opinion, because, like, you had Goro in there. Like, why not have Kintaro? Or, like, Onaga. But, okay, this is going back to, like, fucking... Onaga is basically not supposed to be in this game at this point, because Reptile's in the game, so I guess you can't have Onaga in the game if Reptile is still his scaly ass self. Moving on to Leatherface. This I don't fucking get. Leatherface, out of every character in any movie, TV show, comic book, what the fuck ever, whatever you want to choose from is up to you. Leatherface doesn't seem very like feasible at this time. Like, Leatherface has no supernatural powers. Like, he can die because he's basically just a crazy ass man with a fucking chainsaw. But from the look of the Leatherface that they chose, it looks like they went somewhere in a mix between original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I would have preferred, and this is probably going to piss a lot of people off, but I would have preferred if he looked more like the 2007 Michael Bay, like, reboot version, but not the 2011, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D version, because that just looked fucking weird. But yeah, like, instead of Leatherface, I could have probably seen maybe, you know, the closest thing I could come up with that would be a little bit better than just Leatherface. Again, crazy asshole with fucking chainsaw. You can already guess what his fucking fatalities are. I would have been more excited if, say, instead of Leatherface, they had, you know, Pinhead, or I don't know, just throwing it out there, Wishmaster, one of those guys, you know. Leatherface just, I don't know, it doesn't really sit right to me. But as for Triborg, what can I say about Triborg? Triborg is a mix of 3 characters in one: Smoke, Cyrax, and Sector. So, you can already guess what his 3 variations are. He's going to have the Smoke variation, the Sector variation, and the Cyrax variation. Yeah. I don't have an answer for this one. This is the most puzzling out of all 4 characters to me. I don't understand where this character is coming from. I don't understand why they would just make, like, one character based around 3 other characters, 2 of which, only 2 of those characters I actually like. That would be Smoke and Cyrax. I don't like Sector very much. But, like, yeah, it would make sense, because all 3 were actually, all 3 of those original characters, Smoke, Cyrax, and Sector, were in Mortal Kombat 9. So it would make sense for all 3 of those to make a return. But as you saw in the storyline, if you watched it closely, Cyrax or Sector has been, like, destroyed, and there's a fucking, his, like, helmet is on a pedestal, and it plays like a message on fucking hologram Titantron, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So I can kind of guess why they went with Triborg, because it seems like a cop-out as opposed to just, like, choosing one of the 3. Like, why don't we just make one with all 3 in it? That's the Ed Boon way. But last, and certainly not least, the Xenomorph. Let me start off by saying I am not a fan of the Aliens franchise. However, with the Predator being in Kombat Pack 1, you know, I guess it was either up to having Freddy Krueger return or having the fucking alien. Now, Does anyone really need to be fucking reminded of Alien versus Predator? Because it's not worth being remembered. It really isn't. It had one movie which was appealing to the eye, and then it had a sequel that you couldn't even fucking see because it was filmed so fucking dark. And yeah, it's Alien versus Predator. I get it. It's just, it doesn't need to happen in this game. In my opinion, it didn't need to happen on the screen. But if it did have to happen on the screen, there should have just been one movie. That's it. Like Freddy versus Jason, one movie. That's it. But yeah, regardless, Alien, Xenomorph, whatever the fuck you want to call him, I would rather just have Boracho. I would rather just have Boracho without the shitty little monster inside the big monster. It's not entertaining. It's not exciting to me. It's an alien. Like, if Aliens, Colonials, Marines is any indication of what's to come, think about that for a while. But I'm going to get ready to wrap this up with my final thoughts on the whole MKX Kombat Pack 2. So keep in mind, everything in this video, and I probably should have said this at the beginning, is my opinion. I'm not telling you to not go out and buy this. I'm not telling you to go out and buy this. I'm just saying what I think about it and what I'm going to do. So, if it comes down to would I, probably sometime down the line. Like I said, I'd rather wait for everything else to be released before I make up my mind on whether I want these 4 characters. Should I, though? That's the thing. If I'm going to do these Mortal Kombat X breakdowns on these 4 characters, I would have to basically do it at the time that they are released individually. And that would require me to get Kombat Pack 2 as soon as I possibly can, and then basically release a video for each and every one of these, which I don't mind playing Mortal Kombat X. Unfortunately, right now I don't have it installed on my PS4, so I would basically have to re-download it. Wouldn't take me very long, but see, that's another point where I do feel that Mortal Kombat X has run its course with me, because shortly after I did the last Mortal Kombat breakdown, which if you are a long time subscriber, you'd probably seen my entire playlist of MKX breakdowns. They were fun. They were fun to make. They were fun to try out. Some of the fatalities were pretty good. I still have to say that the best DLC character that came out was by far Jason Voorhees. Perfect combination of speed, strength, and like brutal fatalities, basically. With Tanya being a close second. I really liked Tanya. As for everything else, I don't know if down the line my thoughts are going to change about Mortal Kombat X. See, the only thing I can really think about, which would be a positive, is that if I were to create these 4 breakdown videos based on these characters, it would basically, hopefully, if Ed Boon doesn't get another dick up his ass, hopefully there won't be a Kombat Pack 3. I say that because I really fucking hope that this game can die, because, you know, the longer they keep this game alive, the longer it will postpone the next game, and the next game could be very good, considering what they've discovered about this game, aka the story length. But yeah, other than that, I would have to get these characters done just because I want to get these characters done. That's really all it comes down to. I would love nothing more than to actually make an entire playlist of every Mortal Kombat X character, even these four. But I'm not willing to spend $20 to do that, considering I don't even play the game anymore. Like I said, I don't have it installed in my hard drive. So at this point, like nothing is compelling me to buy this. Nothing is compelling me to play Mortal Kombat X anymore. I don't even think I know anyone on my friends list that has this game. I think I know one person who has the game on disc, but that isn't really enough. Like, I've done everything in Mortal Kombat X. I've beaten the story. I've done everything. I've gotten to the highest rank in every faction. I've done the faction war thing for several months. I've done the challenge towers, unlocked so much shit, and basically all that was left was online matches, and I just don't have a feel for that kind of shit. So it kind of sucks that basically when I finished the main storyline, which I did a complete playthrough of, you can go ahead and watch that if you want. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. It kind of felt like I only needed to play through that once. I only felt I needed to play through the story once. And I think from the time the game was released and the time I deleted it off my hard drive or uninstalled it off my hard drive, I may have played it maybe 3 times and then let like other people play through the story just because they wanted to see what it was like. So based on those instances alone, I don't think I can really justify myself into buying Kombat Pack 2. Who knows, with more information released of what these four characters are capable of, things might change. I don't know. But as it stands right now, I'm not going to be doing any breakdown videos on these four characters. So, this has been Irish Shadow, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again next time.